You are watching a clip from the Sports and Sorts podcast.
Let's get into Eagles versus Saints. We can do a little
Dilly.
Philly. So this we came out. We had both picked the Saints to win.
Yes. I think I had the Saints big.
You had the Saints winning by 18. I had the Saints winning by 10. So I had it a closer game. I thought that the Saints would have it kind of in hand. But I thought and the Saints should have won by 9. They missed a field goal.
Yeah.
That's whatever. It happens. It's been happening a lot this year. But
Yep.
there was a guy, Joel A., who came on and posted, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to be bringing this stuff up. I'm going to be putting it on the screen here. Boom. All right, let's see if I can get it on there. Hold on. Go. No, it's not going to go up there. All right, it's not going to go on the screen, but I will read you. I'll read you the clip. Here it is. He just said that we had bad analysis. Who ended the season strongest in the league? Eagles. Number 1 offense and number 2 defense in the last 6 weeks. That matters. Saints ended the season with a whimper. This will be like a preseason game for their offensive line as they haven't fully played together in a long time and will take time to adjust. That's going to be the difference in this game. Eagles will start fast and win wire to wire. Then y'all can shut up about the magic ends, comments, and disrespect that you are giving the world champs.
Hold on. Okay.
Wait. They got a chip on their shoulder. That's their edge. Karma is a B after the first game where they ran up the score 50%, depleted lineup on the defense. Way different team right now. 8-point underdogs. LOL, man. Vegas keeps getting them wrong, and bringing in old Dusty Lombardi trophy with $200K in cash reeks of desperation and a coach who is worried his team's head is not in playoff mode and needs motivation. That will have zero to do with the outcome. All the other teams are aware of this payout too. Eagles know about it very well in their recent history, winky face. We've seen this in sports too many times and totally believe that the Saints peaked too soon in the season and will not win it all regardless.
I mean, look. At any point, the thing I'm taking away from that is that somehow we disrespected the Eagles. As far as I'm concerned, we pretty much were praising the Eagles most of the season, especially because they're one of the few teams that I can remember in recent history that somehow bucked the Super Bowl hangover trend. Yeah. And I actually was going to say some nice things about the Eagles today, and I will continue to do so.
Except
first of all,
they might not have their.
For starters, though, that post was just. I mean, yeah, you got it all out. It felt like you were just flushing a toilet, and it all came out, and that's great. I'm happy for you, but and I hope that was therapeutic and cathartic for you, but there really wasn't. I mean,
it just got to suck today when you wake up this morning.
Right. You wake up this morning, and Shane and the Brine Man were right.
Yeah. And I appreciate the comment. I do. I even liked it because I have no problem with anyone or anybody else having an opposite opinion of us.
Completely fine. But
at the top of the show, I messed up. I said I had messed up, and I am man enough to do that. So I hope he can also man up and say, you know what, I was wrong. Even though it was a fun, hard-nosed game, we lost. And I had the Saints. I had the Saints winning by 10. They lost. They won by 6. They should have won by 9. But the missed field goal, like I said, and I really think that's the story of the year. How many kicks and important kicks were missed in general this year, and it'll only be fitting if the Super Bowl ends on a missed field goal.
And look, I mean, this guy might have been right if Alshon Jeffrey holds on to the ball, because I actually think I kind of think the Eagles might have won the game. Look, after he missed that field goal, I was like, oh my God, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. Because, Big Dick Nick is, I'll tell you what, he's a special player. That's what they call him, by the way. There's a reason why. I'm sure. I guess he's pretty well put together. Anyways.
Brady walks on the field, you are well within your right to throw a big floppy on that field.
Word on the street is Big Dick Nick is well endowed, so I don't know. I mean, I guess that leaked out of the locker room or the shower or whatever. But anyways, I have a lot of love for the Eagles. There were some instances during yesterday's game where I was like, man, it's kind of a shame that they are out of the playoffs, because I'll tell you what, that is a really, really good team. I mean, they are so supportive of each other. They are everything. They actually almost remind me of like a little league team. because they even when stuff goes bad, Alshon Jeffrey, that ball gets through his hands, he goes to the sideline, and like the first three people that greet him and put their arms around him and give him support are the coach, the quarterback, and the backup quarterback. Well, they're the injured quarterback, Carson Wentz. Yeah. So, like, you could argue, like, the three most important people on the team, Peterson, Foles, and Wentz, all go over to him. And they're there to support him. They put their arms around him. They hug him. And whatever they're saying to him, that is a team. The Eagles are made of special stuff. They really are. They absolutely were a special team. And you know what? The talent game basically just caught up to them yesterday because ultimately the Saints are a better and more talented team. That was a tough hill to climb yesterday for Philadelphia. On the road, in a hostile environment, against one of the greatest quarterbacks who's ever walked the face of the planet, and a coach who is very, very good and equal to the task. That was a tough hill to climb, and you damn near climbed it. There should be nothing. You should have nothing but pride if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan today. Mm-hmm. You really should, because that team just conducts itself so well, and they honestly are a pretty class organization from top to bottom. They really handle losing well, and that's not an easy thing to do because most of us are pretty sore losers, and sometimes rightfully so. But I got to tip my cap to the Eagles. I mean, look, they ran into a better team. They got off to a great start. You could argue they should have won the game. Maybe they should have. But you had to know a team like the Saints, even down 14, they were not going to pack it in. That was not going to be the Chargers in Foxborough. There was no way. The Saints were going to come back. The only question was whether or not they were going to win. Yeah. But they were going to come back.
And now there's a lot of talk that Foles isn't going to be back next year. But you know what? They said that after the last year, too. And
they've said
I would not be. He seems to really, really like it there. And he could have had a starting job somewhere else this year.
Yeah. And he will have – I mean, look.
Now, it all depends on him. He chose to be the backup quarterback because he's like, I don't need to be the star. I don't have to be. I just want to be on a team that I really enjoy playing for because he had times before where he was miserable playing a quarterback, and he doesn't want to go back to that situation. He's in a team, so he might come back. There is a chance.
You don't hear this a lot in sports, but that team, you can tell, especially because of the head coach, is a very nurturing environment. Oh, yeah. I mean, it really is. I mean, I can see why a person would want to stay there and maybe even take less money or maybe even throw away an opportunity to be a starter.
Yeah.
Here, the thing with Nick Foles is this year, of course, if he gets franchised again, it's $20 million. But you know what? If you're the Eagles, you can absorb that because Carson Wentz doesn't make anything.
Right.
Not yet. Eventually he's gonna, as long as he's if Carson Wentz is, it was funny. And that's been kind of a debate. Is do the Eagles actually try to trade Wentz because of his value, because he makes no money, and because of, my God, think of the king's ransom they could get, and keep Foles? Or do you let Foles walk and say, hey, Carson Wentz is still my guy? Our friend Tim Callahan and I were going about this, going back and forth on this last night. And I was definitively in the camp of you got to keep Carson Wentz. Because the thing you got to remember about Carson Wentz, and you brought it up before, is that guy was a runaway MVP at like almost this time a year ago. Remember? I mean, Carson Wentz was going to win the MVP award last year, and then he got hurt. Mm-hmm. He had it in the bag, and then he got hurt.
And they probably would have won the Super Bowl.
And I actually think they still would have won the Super Bowl, regardless of whether or not he was, Foles or not.
It was a magical story because Foles.
It was. Of course it was. But Carson Wentz to me is the kind of guy you want to build a team around. That's not to say that Nick Foles isn't, but Nick Foles is 29 years old. He's a little bit old. Although in this quarterback league, the guy's probably got another decade left in him because this is a league that protects the quarterback. But I'll tell you, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. Why? Because I think if you say, well, I want to keep Nick Foles and trade Carson Wentz for draft picks and all that, to me, that's like a sign of overthinking. I think you're overthinking it. Carson Wentz is a better, more talented quarterback. His future in this league, to me, is still brighter than Nick Foles. Now, Nick Foles will always have that moment. He'll always have it. You can't take it away from him. It's literally immortalized in a statue outside of the link. But Carson Wentz is, to me, as talented and gritty a guy as you could possibly want.
He's a Hall of Fame player. He's that caliber player.
If he's healthy, yes, if he's healthy.
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of a no-brainer of a debate, to be honest. I think you keep Wentz and you let Foles move on. Look, let Foles, if he's that good, he will blossom elsewhere. He really will. Open the cage and let the bird fly, Yeah. Let him go. And, although I will say this, if you're Foles, I can kind of understand why you'd want to stay put again, because you did have a chance to go elsewhere and it did not work out.
He hated it. He
hated
almost retired. He almost quit football. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
There's a chance. There's a chance he might stay.
He might just say, just tag me again. I'll live with the franchise tag and we'll play this 1 year at a time. Maybe.
Maybe he retires. Like if Wentz plays the whole season, maybe he just says, all right, yeah.
I will tell you, that would really speak to the nurturing nature of the Philadelphia Eagles, which seems strange because you're talking about a Philadelphia team and a city that just has such a crappy reputation. But tip of the cap to them though. The Eagles were on a magical run. It had to end at some point. It did at the hands of a team that may be the best in football. If you're an Eagles fan, I'm sorry, you can be disappointed, but you really shouldn't be mad at the way it turned out yesterday. Yeah. It's not like you were up 21-0 or 28-0 and you let that team storm back on you. You were up 14. It never got worse than that. It never got bigger than that. I mean, look, 14 points, that's 2 touchdowns. I mean, if you're the Saints, you can score 2 touchdowns in your sleep. So
in the next 2 drives.
It's just, right. I mean, it's just nothing that you can be upset about if you're an Eagles fan.
We also need to give some shine to Michael Thomas. I mean, he was an absolute beast yesterday.
He's a man.
Beast. I love that guy. I drafted him in multiple leagues this year, and he is an absolute beast. He is like, and I think we've mentioned this before. He's kind of like a Jerry Rice kind of thing. Like he's just.
I have used their names in the same sentence.
I mean, he's not. We are not saying.
No,
they are but they are similar players. Like they're not the fastest player. They just have great hands and they run great routes. That's what they do. And that is something that I respect about Michael Thomas, because he is not the most athletic wide receiver. He's not even probably top 20 most athletic wide receivers in the league. But you know what? He is a top 5 receiver because he is just so methodical about running his routes and catching the ball when it's thrown to him. And he is a beast when he does it. And he's a he's strong.
Well, Tim and I do our postseason bet every year, and we both have the Saints winning the Super Bowl in that bet. And and our tiebreaker is MVP. So he had Breeze, and I went with Michael Thomas.
Ooh.
So we'll see how that plays out. But Michael Thomas is a special player. Oh God, he just runs impeccable routes.
I don't think the Saints are going to get there, but. I don't think they're going to have the trophy. I just don't think they're going to do that this year. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we have a couple of games next week: Rams versus Saints, Patriots, Chiefs. When it comes down, I'll give a quick little. I'm just going to do a quick little analysis on this. I think the Rams and Saints game is going to come down to defense. Who can stop the other team's run game, and the Patriots and the Chiefs. I just can't wait to see the game plan that the Patriots come up for with the Chiefs, and to see if the Chiefs can actually either change what they're doing to win, or if they can just plow through. I'm very interested to see how it goes. I cannot wait.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You have just watched a clip from Sports and Sorts, where we go live every Monday and Saturday on YouTube. Thanks for watching.